in our quiet suburban neighborhood, the kind where you feel safe enough to leave your doors unlocked. But that night, our sense of security was shattered. After dinner, we settled into our usual routines. The kids played in the living room while my wife and I caught up on some reading. Little did we know, someone was watching us. Around 10 p.m., I noticed a draft coming from the hallway. To my surprise, the back door was slightly open. I was certain I had locked it earlier. A chill ran down my spine. Moments later, we heard a faint noise coming from the basement. Grabbing a flashlight, I decided to investigate, each step echoing my growing apprehension. In the basement, everything seemed normal until I noticed the small window was open. It was just big enough for someone to squeeze through. Panic set in. The reality hit me. We weren't alone. Someone had entered our home. I felt a mix of fear and anger, but I had to stay composed for my family's sake. I rushed upstairs and quietly informed my wife. We gathered the kids and locked ourselves in the bedroom, trying to stay as quiet as possible. With trembling hands, I dialed 911, whispering our situation to the operator. They assured me that officers were on their way, but minutes felt like hours. We heard faint footsteps outside our bedroom door. The intruder was just feet away. I held my breath, praying they wouldn't try to enter. Suddenly, the sound of sirens filled the air. The intruder's footsteps retreated, followed by the sound of a door closing. The police had arrived just in time. Officers searched the house, but found no one. They discovered muddy footprints leading from the basement window, confirming our worst fears. The police took our statements and assured us they'd patrol the area. We were safe, but the sense of violation lingered. Our home didn't feel like the sanctuary it once was. The next day, we installed better locks and security cameras. It helped, but the psychological scars remained. We had learned a hard lesson about complacency. Months have passed, and while we've moved on, that night serves as a constant reminder. We now understand the importance of vigilance and the fragility of our perceived safety. Life goes on. The days feel normal again. The neighborhood looks the same, and yet something has changed. I double-check the locks every night now. I wake up at the smallest sound. But what haunts me most isn't the break-in itself. It's the questions that were never answered. Who was he? What did he want? Did he come just to rob us? Or was there something more? Some nights I check the security footage, and sometimes I see something just out of focus, just out of reach. A shadow at the edge of our yard. Maybe it's paranoia. Maybe it's just my mind playing tricks on me. But deep down, I can't shake the feeling. What if he's still out there? Watching. Waiting. They say your home is your sanctuary, a place where you feel safest. But what if that sense of security is nothing more than an illusion? What if, unbeknownst to you, someone else is sharing your space? It started with small things, a cereal box left open, dishes not where we remembered placing them. We laughed it off, blaming each other for being forgetful. Then came the noises, soft footsteps in the hallway during the dead of night. We brushed it off as the house settling, or perhaps the wind. One morning, my wife's necklace went missing. We searched everywhere but found nothing. It was sentimental to her, but we assumed it was simply misplaced. Weeks later, while retrieving holiday decorations from the attic, I stumbled upon something chilling, a makeshift bed, food wrappers, and personal items that weren't ours. The horrifying truth dawned on us. Someone had been living in our home right above us without our knowledge. Heart-pounding, I called out, and from the shadows emerged a disheveled man, eyes wild with fear. He bolted past me, disappearing into the night. The police arrived, taking our statements. They found evidence of the man's prolonged stay. He had been there for months. Among his belongings were photos of us, sleeping, eating, living our lives, completely unaware of his presence. We changed the locks, installed security systems, and tried to move on. But the sense of violation lingered. Nights became restless. Every creak, every rustle sent my heart racing. The sanctuary of our home had been tainted. Even now, years later, the thought persists. Could it happen again? Is someone watching us, even as we speak? We often take our safety for granted, believing our homes are impenetrable fortresses. But sometimes the real threat isn't from outside. It's from within. They say your home is your sanctuary, a place where you feel safe, protected from the world's dangers. But what if that sense of security is shattered by an unseen presence lurking within your own walls? It began subtly. I'd wake up to find the kitchen not quite as I'd left it, a loaf of bread slightly askew, crumbs where there shouldn't be any. I brushed it off, attributing it to my own absent-mindedness. Then came the noises, soft creaks and faint footsteps in the dead of night. I convinced myself it was just the house settling, or perhaps my imagination playing tricks on me. One morning, I noticed my bookshelf seemed different, books out of order, a picture frame slightly tilted. I wondered if I had done it without realizing, but a nagging feeling told me otherwise. Determined to find answers, I decided to search the house thoroughly. In the attic, amidst the dust and forgotten belongings, I found evidence of an intruder, a makeshift bed, food wrappers, and clothing that wasn't mine. The horrifying truth set in. Someone had been living in my home, moving silently through my space, watching me without my knowledge. Heart-pounding, I called out, demanding the intruder reveal themselves. From the shadows emerged a disheveled man, eyes wild with fear. Before I could react, he bolted past me, disappearing into the night. The police arrived, taking my statement and searching the house. They found evidence of the man's prolonged stay. He had been living there for weeks, possibly months. Among his belongings were photos of me, sleeping, eating, going about my daily life, completely unaware of his presence. I changed the locks, installed a security system, and tried to reclaim my sense of safety. But the violation lingered, an invisible scar on my psyche. Nights became restless. Every creak, every rustle sent my heart racing. The sanctuary of my home had been tainted, and with it, my peace of mind. Even now the thought persists, could it happen again? Is someone watching me, even as I speak?